You guys will not believe what I just did. I just recorded a whole video and then realized I wasn't recording. So anyways, welcome back to the channel. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate all the wonderful comments and all the positive vibes that we're feeling as we build this community together. And it's just nice to see. It's nice to see after not having it for a while. And so all the ways to support me are down below. We do have the Otter Spirit bracelets, and they also have necklaces and stuff. They're really beautiful gems, and they do donate to the otters. I absolutely love mine, and I sent actually one to my son, and he loves his as well. And they do have a warranty on them, so if they break, they do replace them. Also, I have lots of merchandise below. I have astrology shirts that are pretty awesome, and I'm going to be working on some more stuff soon. So if you like to check that out, it does help the channel. It does help me out. Christmas is coming, so don't feel obligated. You can just like and subscribe and just watch the videos and be a part of the community, but it's there if you want to check it out. All right, so now let me see if I can remember what I was saying. So I already kind of posted this on the community page, but I told myself I need to start making videos because a lot of the random visions that I have, regardless of what they are, they end up making sense or end up happening, and then I don't have a video of it, and then I got to go back and make a screenshot. So first I'm going to tell you kind of what the hits are that I've had today and what I kind of think they mean, and go over a few other things that have been kind of repeating to me. So basically I was told Biden's last stand. And then I was shown like the old Wild West. And I was shown the whole vision of the Wild West. Like I can hear it. I feel like I'm there. It makes me wonder if it's almost a past life with him and Donald. And besides just being metaphoric, because they always seem to have like this maybe karmic tie together, right? And I do think there's soul contracts here and karma at play and lessons and all of that. But it's interesting because as I'm telling you about it, I can still see it and I can hear it. So, you know how, cowboys are when they walk and they have the spurs, how that sounds, and you're walking on dirt. It's like I see Biden walk, and they're older in this, but I see Biden walking one way, and I see Donald walking the other. Um, and he does Biden turns around really quick. His hat's a little tilted, and he fires. So also the metaphoric part that I can take from it is that you have to be very fast, very slick, and very strategic in the way that you do, the way that you handle a duel. But I kind of think there might be some kind of past life weird thing that goes with it because I feel like I'm literally in the Wild West when this vision is very, very vivid. And the part of the Biden last stand is because from what I understand with the astrology, Pluto is leaving Capricorn, the old order, and going into Aquarius, which is a very different type of energy. Biden is the last one of the old order and the last one of the old ways. And he only has a short period of time to make his move. So it is sort of like his last stand. And I think, and the ball was going off, I think that there will be some last stand events here. And so I had to stop and start a new one. Um, Gotta love shadow period of Mercury retrograde. All of a sudden, my internet went out kind of after the ball went off. And if you guys see those balls go off, I like to say that it validates what I'm talking about. So another vision, or I think what I was talking about was the bombshells. Spirit was telling me there's gonna be bombshells coming election, and it wasn't going to be like anything we had ever seen before. So then I think I want to reiterate in the very first crime video that I did, there was mention of espionage in Russia, and I didn't put it together or understand it at the time. So I think there was hints here all along of what was going on. The other thing that I want to say is I keep getting that vision of the got it in the live the other night. Visions, and I think it was the Rod live, and it was a long live, but it was pretty interesting. But I kept getting visions of like jets, like fighter jets in like a V. Um, and that's repeating. And I don't know if it's symbolic for military or something, or if it repeats, it's usually important. So it usually means that I don't understand what it means, or it's important in some way, shape, or form. So I'm seeing these jets, and now lately they're dropping bombs. So again, I don't know if it's symbolic or not. Not trying to scare anybody. I don't know if that's something that's going to happen or not. I do know that what happened with Biden allowing that might cause some tensions, but I feel like he had every right to. So, also, I posted a link on the community page about a scientist that is saying the numbers are wacky. He's never seen anything like it. And he sent a letter to Kamala for a recount, and saying that these don't make sense. This doesn't make sense at all. And so I know he wrote a letter. He hasn't heard anything back. I don't know how anybody could get that video to her, but I wanted to put it out there. There are experts that are noticing things, and if there are experts out here that are noticing things, there has to be experts around her that must notice things, you would think, or in the CIA or whatever. But what's interesting is Spirit was showing me like a code. I don't know anything about technical stuff, but there's an interesting thing about a code that may have been inputted or something of that sort. It could be kind of like a virus, like I was thinking, or I don't know anything about this kind of crap. So I'm trying to just explain it as I see it. But it's like, it's interesting because they're showing me like Pac-Man. So the symbolism of like how maybe that would be a virus. Because hackers can write viruses where they can change the code of things. And then I still get the beaming for a satellite for something, and I don't really understand that. So I don't know what any of it means, but I just wanted to share that with you as well. As I get things, I will share them with you, because sometimes I get hits on these things. And again, another thing that I saw was Kamala stepping into her armor. It kind of reminded me of Xena Warrior Princess, and how and I kind of mentioned this in the reading, but it's something that kind of keeps happening. Kind of I can keep seeing, and so I can only be hopeful that she is bringing her warrioress out. But it's like her stepping into her armor and wielding her sword, and it kind of reminds me of the women that were fighters in like Xena Warrior Princess. You used to watch that back in the day. That's kind of Amazon women. It kind of reminds me of that a little bit. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I know that the balls are going off. That one's almost dying, so you can't see it very well. I know that she's got very strong Aboriginal ancestors around her. And so I don't know. I feel like she could be spiritual since she's into the astrology and stuff. Like I feel like she's open-minded. So I don't know what's going on with Elon. I haven't done a reading on him, but Spirit is showing me his name crossed off now. But I'm feeling like he might be being investigated, or they might be looking into him. There's a mention of a raid. So I don't know if that's like the raid that happened that's going to get connected, like it's all going to get connected back, or if there's going to be a different raid that's going to connect back. I don't know, but I feel like there's little investigations that are going on behind the scenes, and that maybe they've been watching him for quite a while. The other thing that is kind of interesting to me is, like, for a while I've been mentioning the needle with whatever in it, and it feels like it's a poison, and I kept pulling the poison card. So I don't know if there is betrayal in the midst of Trump and who he's putting around him, because once he gets in, they don't care what happens to him. Like, there's more than just this. During the live last night, I heard cabal. I don't know anything about that. I don't know if that's like who's behind on that side. It feels like it's just a bunch of rich people that want to control the world. You know what they showed me right now? They symbolically, it's on The Simpsons, the evil guy in Simpsons. I can't think of his name. Where he's like, ah, that guy. That's who they showed me. So it's kind of like that kind of energy of wanting to control the world and control everything. And there's something I'm getting about cryptocurrency as well. I'm not really sure what that means either. Because these things are kind of coming to me as I'm talking to you, as I've been getting like hits here and there. Because I've been questioning things too. I would never want to put out false hope in any way, shape, or form, and so I always worry, and I even worry in cases. Like, I never want to put out false information. I'm just part of my lesson in doing all of this, and I feel like stepping into this part of my gifts that I've never used before for this kind of thing. But there is crimes involved, so I can see why I was brought in, or why I was pushed to do this, as a lot of other light workers were. Is that there's still free will involved, unfortunately. I always say there's one main path and many different paths we can take, but according to the astrology and according to what I feel, is that things are working behind the scenes. The ball's going off again. So again, I feel like the ball validates a lot of what I say. They've been doing that quite often. So I feel like there's a lot of things working behind the scenes. There's a lot of different parts. They show me, like, it's interesting. This is another symbolism. The symbolism they're using is very new. I've never gotten these kind of things before, but I can only kind of perceive them as they show it. So it's like the White House, and I'm getting a reference to like strings being pushed out, like strings from the White House going to different places. So I don't know if that means like we're branching out into different agencies. But I feel like it feels like Biden, I hear like trusted advisors. So there might be trusted advisors that he's speaking to. And Biden isn't dumb by any means. He's a very smart man. And again, he does everything in secret. So don't expect him to show his hand. That's not who he is. He's got all that Scorpio energy in the 12th house. He operates behind the scenes, and his country and his family are very important to him. So that's one thing that Spirit's wanted me to remind you of. I don't think that he wants a dictatorship to take over and decimate his entire, like, everything he's worked for, and the country and the people of this country that he loves. People can say what they want about Biden, but he is one that does love his country. Oh, there's the blue thing going off back there. So, I feel like I'm hearing like strategic, and they're showing me the strategy card that I pulled the other day in the crime reading. The strategy card with the cards, almost like poker. In that strategy card, it is like poker cards and the strategy card. So I find there sometimes Spirit will remind me of cards I've pulled, like, to bring it back up. Like, there's a strategy to this, and it's very strategic, like poker. And he's got like a poker face. Look at the ball. The ball's going off. So there's another validation. So that's kind of interesting. And also there's a clash. I'm getting this. They're showing me like Trump and Elania, or Elon, and I'm getting like the like gloves hitting gloves. Like, oh, there goes the ball again. Like there might be a clash of egos going on. Oh, more balls are going off. They used a different. Oh, there's two balls going off. Interesting. Um, like there might be a clash of egos with them too. Interesting. I feel like Elon's being pushed out, And it almost feels like he's going to want revenge. So he might roll for a deal. That's very interesting. The ball's going off. You guys see it? Because I feel like the big part as to why he bought this election and got involved in all of this, and he's getting a little too big for his britches, so to speak, is what I'm hearing, is that, he's kind of acting like the second president, and Trump's not going to like that. That ball is going wild. It's almost like he wanted it so that he has other plans for his technology. He wants to lift things like on his satellites and on his like brain things and on his robots. Like there's a Russia collusion here. So he wants all of those restrictions lifted. And I'm also hearing like a selling of secrets. So that's kind of interesting. But I feel like with all of these, they keep showing me like wheels, or like the internal. Okay, you know how like in a watch there's all these like moving parts. Like they keep showing me like all these moving parts to make this happen. And as I've said in one of my previous videos, dang, the ball's still going off. As I said in one of my previous videos, that I feel like this was a setup for a very long time. I said this a couple weeks ago. I put out this video about how Trump said he didn't need any more votes, and he didn't need any votes. He had all the votes he needed. I think that, and so when I put out that video, but my point was in that video was that this was a setup. Like he also set up the American people by doing this covert trying to steal the election. He's always projects things, right? So whatever he's doing, he projects it like we're doing it. That's just how he is. They always say like everything he says is kind of a confession. So the reason why he set this up is he was testing the waters and setting it up so that he could steal it this time. Like this was always a plan. I didn't get away with stealing it in 2016, but they're not going to want to challenge it because we did all the challenges and we figured out there's nothing wrong with the voting, right? But it was done different. It was done in a new way, in regard like different than just a bunch of new ballots coming in. This was more like cybercrime, or more technologically, other than, of course, you know, ballot boxes were burned. And unfortunately, and that's another thing I want to say. The guy, and I said this like a week or so ago, or I don't know, whenever I did one of my videos, I said that I felt that the ball's still going off, that the Russian bomb threats were like a distraction. And he explained it in his video about the Russian bomb threats being a distraction. And I thought that was really interesting. That was really validating for me. And it's almost like so that they couldn't, I forgot how he worded it, but it's a distraction so they could do other things, but then also they couldn't challenge the election. There's something like that. But you'd have to go watch that video to completely understand it, because I don't remember exactly what he was saying. So I thought that was interesting because that was something that I got about that just being like a distraction. Like it's all intertwined. Do you know what I mean? Like it's this big web. Everything is intertwined. And like I said, I think if we have to know, they probably know, and there might be some. I'm sure that the government sometimes goes into the dark web and sees things and goes into places that we don't know about. Like they have hackers. So there might be something on the dark web that's seen as well, because I'm kind of getting that as well. So I don't know why they're showing me like a reference to trafficking. That's kind of weird. I don't get how that would play into any of this. But I think it was when I went into the energy of the dark web right now that it kind of came up. Anyways, that was kind of weird. And I pulled that card, but there's people surrounding this that are involved in trafficking. So I don't know. I mean, that ball is just going mad back there. So this is just, I guess, validation. They're showing me the satellites again. Why are they showing me the satellites? I mean, I do get that beaming up, but did they use the satellites to put in? See, I've heard that they were connected to the internet, and then I heard that they weren't, so I don't really know. And they're not supposed to be, right? But can satellites beam something down? I don't know. I feel like, oh, and there was something else I wanted to say. I was thinking that the woman that I maybe got, the woman card, I'm wondering because allegedly Ivanka got patents to voting machines in 2017. I'm wondering if that was like to learn how they run, to see what they could do to test a way to do this. Like, this has been in the plans since he tried to steal it last time. Like I said, it was a setup. It was a setup so that we wouldn't want to challenge it, because if we challenged it, we look stupid because we said there was no voter fraud and everything was good. And that's why it was all done. That's the whole that's what I mean. This plan has been in the works for a long time. Interesting that blue light keeps going on when the ball went off. But yeah, so I'm gonna try to get an auto write done. I've got to get Suzanne's reading done tonight. I've been driven crazy by that lately. I did completely wrong name, completely wrong picture last time I did it, so I got to do it all over. But I wanted to hop on here and just give you a few things that I was getting hit with. There goes the ball again. And a few feelings that I had. So let's see. I don't know. They keep taking me back to like this Pac-Man, or I don't know if that means like it's a program. It's a virus in the program. Like, I don't understand that. It's the Pac-Man thing. It's not like they put Pac-Man in it. Like, it's symbolic. So maybe technological people could help me understand that more, because I have absolutely no idea. That's not my forte. They're connecting the raids to Peter Thiel. Like, I feel like there's connections here. And I know this came in the reading, but I feel like it's like they're drawing lines, like connections. Like they're trying to like unwind or because it feels like it's a web, right? So they're trying to like get this web, but it's like they're starting at the low bottom of the totem pole and they're working their way up. And there might be people that roll for their own so they don't go to jail or something like that. Like, they might use things against them. I don't know why that's kind of coming in. And I hear asset, and I do feel like there's covertly somebody on the inside that's like watching. And I go back to that like phone cloning. I don't know if it's like phone cloning or program put on or what the heck this is. I kind of go back to that. Like, it's almost like, I don't know how many of you got the feeling of when Biden and I didn't see the whole video, but when Biden and him were like in the same room, it's almost like Biden's like smiling to his face, but in the back of his mind, he's like, I got you. Do you know what I mean? And that's how he is. That's how he operates. That's a Scorpio for you. They'll smile to your face and they'll be a detective like behind your back. Like, Scorpios are like detectives. So I feel like he would be digging into this because it doesn't smell right. And if there's computer programmers and people out there that are saying it doesn't smell right, then you know that people in the CIA and stuff have to be saying the same thing. So, I think that's it. If I get anything else, any other hits that Spirit wants me to bring to your attention, I will let you know what they are. Um, I seem to want to do this just in case. For some reason, I need to start putting my visions out on little videos. So you might see little pop-up little bleep videos here and there if I get anything. I do also post on the community page. Oh, another thing I wanted to mention. It's almost like I kind of had the feeling this was going to happen. Oh, my dog did that. Because on the night of the election, I literally put, if this bastard tries to steal our votes again, I'm getting a voodoo doll. And it was a joke, but I really felt like he was going to try to steal it. Like, I really felt that way. And so I posted it on the community page. You can go back and look in November 4th or whatever it was, like in the middle of election. And it just was a feeling that I had. So people can tell me all that they want. Like even my son, he couldn't even talk to him that it wasn't stolen. The ball's still going off. So that. But the math ain't math. And even the computer people are saying like the numbers just these don't make any sense. You have the ballot box things, you have the bomb threats, like that should be enough for it to be like there's something wrong here, and that should be enough to trigger it because it's like interference in the election. Hello. So, you can say all of these things. And if the satellites did crash, hello, destroying evidence. I haven't seen anything. I've heard about that, but I haven't seen where they got the information at. So I'm just telling you what I heard, but I don't know where they actually got the information. So if anybody can give me factual information on that, that would be great. Yeah, so the balls keep going off to validate. Look at that. And that's what I'm saying. And it's more than it's freaking 3 balls right now. That's the thing that I want to say too, is like Spirit's voice has been loud in this. And they've activated a lot of light workers. And they've woken up a lot of people to talk about this, to do readings on this, because I feel like they want people to know what's going on, but at the same time, again, there's still free will involved. Like I said, this is very different than any other. There's a lot on the line in this, and this is very different. And that's when they brought me in. There was like, there's going to be bombshells. It's going to be different. So, and a lot of the visions that I've had in the beginning, the man that I saw walking on stage, I don't know how he fits. Like, it's just a vision I had. It could be way in the future. Like, I always tell people that. I don't know. I always thought we had a younger energy, but they didn't tell me who the younger energy was. So that could be someone way in the future. I mean, that could just, who knows? I have absolutely no idea. I don't try to make sense of the visions because they kind of don't make sense till they happen. Which is what I like to explain to people. So, all right. Well, I think that's it. They've done a great job validating with the balls. So whenever you see those spirit balls go off, that's Spirit just validating the stuff I'm saying. So lets me know I'm on the right track. And what we can do is, I don't know if you guys can send letters. I don't know if there's a way to send her the link to this video for this guy. I know he wrote her a letter. I mean, even though we feel like they're doing things, it doesn't hurt to send information. And there's a petition for Elon to be investigated. Like I said, we can see all this stuff happening, but that doesn't mean we can't take proactive action if you want to. And sending positive thoughts that way to Kamala, sending positive thoughts to Joe, seeing positive thoughts that way, trying to put love and light around the world. You can imagine the world and just putting light around it. Light's going off again. And that one's dying. All right. I was going to be done, but they just keep wanting to validate. I love it. I love it. I'm not getting much else. So if you guys kind of understand what I'm getting, then that would be helpful. But I just want to put that out here. And so I got to go work on this case now, and I will see you guys soon. If you haven't hit the like button, please do so on the way out. I know that you are loved and appreciated. And until next time.